Welcome back to CBN News Watch. This is Lent season, and that brings us to a production that's being called Cirque Du Soleil Meets the Passion of the Christ. And the live-action stage show, The Thorn, hit the big screens for 2 days recently. While those days have passed, there are plans to make it available to even more audiences.
What was your crime?
My crime was sharing the good news about my master. To tell you the truth of Jesus.
So, John, let's begin with sort of the history of The Thorn. What gave birth to this production?
So The Thorn was born 25 years ago.
We must travel back to the very beginning of time.
And I actually moved to Colorado Springs to run a small business, volunteered for my local church, and became sort of an accidental youth pastor. Wasn't a great preacher, so we would do a lot of what back in the day we called them illustrated sermons. There was one Wednesday night when, after the sermon, this is October of 1996, this 16-year-old girl came and sat at the edge of the stage, and she began weeping. And she held out her arms, and I could see where she had been cutting up and down her arms. And I looked at her and I said, "You don't have to do that because Jesus did that for you." And so then I thought, next Wednesday night, we're going to do an illustrated sermon. And I want to communicate the price that Jesus paid for us. I wanted them to see this is what he endured for you when he endured the flogging, the road to Calvary, and the crucifixion, and then, of course, celebrating the resurrection. So I wanted to show that, but also I wanted to show the reality of the supernatural battle. I believe the supernatural battle for the hearts, the identity, and the destiny of young people. So I thought to myself, what could we do with the story of God if we used some of these same elements of stagecraft and movement arts and symphonic score and capture people's attention and then bring them face to face with Jesus? That was the idea. And so that very first Thorn show we did for Easter, a true story, we had a line of cars that couldn't get into the parking lot. People were parking on the field by the church, crawling over under the fence to get into the church to watch the production. Over the next 10 years, we had tens of thousands of people every year coming to see The Thorn live. We now have 50 performers that travel around the country with us every year, and they're world-class performers that love Jesus.
What's a Messiah?
It's a hero that was foretold of by our elders long ago.
And now people will be able to see it in theaters. Tell me about that.
I had done a project a few years before with Dallas Jenkins, so I was watching what he was doing with The Chosen. This is 2020 or 2021, and I saw what happened with The Chosen in movie theaters. And then I got the idea, I wonder if we could capture our show, even if no audience is there. What if we just captured the show and then brought it to movie theaters as a way to continue telling the story and create a legacy for what The Thorn has been? And so that was the beginning of the idea. And then 2022, we filmed it in front of a live audience. We actually ended up having 10,000 people that came to the shows in 2022 to be there for the recording. You see it in a way in the film version you would never see it live experience.
I've seen blind children see, lame beggars walk. He cured the incurable.
We're really honored and excited to bring this to a broader base of people to experience hope and to experience Jesus and to find freedom.
What's been the impact you've seen from this production over the years?
It's humbling. I can tell you hundreds of stories for sure, of freedom from addiction, freedom from depression, finding hope in Jesus. And that's the power of this production. It's not about the actors or the lights or the fog or the flips, or that's all just window dressing for the core message, which is Jesus loves you this much. There's nothing you can do to make him love you less, and there's nothing you can do to make him love you more. He loves you just the way you are.
I thought you told me that Jesus was going to become king. They don't crucify kings.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
So it began in that youth room, and now we're just amazed at what God has done over the last couple decades.
John Boland directs the show that more than 1 million people have now seen over the course of some 25 years. And as you heard, it began as a play for young people in his church. We're going to keep you posted on the next plans to make it available to you. For more uplifting entertainment, join us for Studio 5 tonight. We've got a special with the cast of Creed Actor Michael B. Jordan joins us as a first-time director as well. Jonathan Majors and Tessa Thompson are all joining us in Studio 5. We're also sharing exclusive scenes from the film that is still riding high at the box office. You can catch Studio 5 on the CBN News Channel tonight. It begins at 8:30 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News app as well, or on YouTube.